All right, so we fill in that information in the picture from our given. Now we're going to go, statement A. A is parallel to B. What's the reason for that?
What kind of choices?
Well, just look at what they got and look at what we've done so far.
Congruent angles. Given.
And it's given.
Yeah.
Okay. So given. Now if we look over here, angle 4 and angle 2 are corresponding angles. Well, if I look at my picture, would you guys agree that 4 and 2 are corresponding?
Yeah.
In regards to the lines A and B, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something you can gain from a picture. Finding alternate interior, alternate exterior, alternate, same side interior corresponding angles. Usually you can gain that from a picture.
That homework is due tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I have a sweatshirt.
I don't care. So,
Just get it out.
when we look at this, again, our options are given, definition, congruence, or apparent from the figure. Okay. Another option there could be definition of congruence. Definition of corresponding angles. Okay. Because the definition tells us how 4 and 2 should relate to one another in regards to what corresponding means. Does that make sense? So, though they don't put that there, when they say apparent from the figure, the definition is telling us that 4 and 2 are corresponding. So that could be options. So we check that answer. We're good to go. All right, so now with those two things, those two statements that A and B are parallel and 2 and 4 are corresponding, what can you say? If I combine those two together, what can I say about angles 4 and 2? They're congruent. That's because we had parallel lines, A and B, cut by transversal, and now we're looking at corresponding angles, and corresponding angles need to be what when parallel lines are cut by transversal? Congruent. So now here's the thing. You might see you're thinking the word corresponding. You might go through here, I see corresponding right there, and I choose that one. But what does that one say if I read all of it? If two lines are corresponding,
It says alternate interior.
then the alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay, I want to talk about alternate interior angles, but can lines be corresponding the way we talked about them so far?
No.
No, you got to read what these statements say. They're writing them incorrectly, but a lot of people will see corresponding and just instantly select that third option. We got to look at, actually, let's do this last one. If two lines are cut by transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. Put that. Go. Create another flow chart for us. Okay, so now they're bringing in this extra statement that was given. Okay, so there's no kind of flow of where that came from. It's provided up here from the given. But we also have this 4 is congruent to 2. So we see that we're putting those two statements, okay, this statement here and that statement there come together. If you've got 4 congruent to 2 and 10 congruent to 4, okay, so we have the idea that if 10 is the same thing as 4, it's congruent to 4. 4 is congruent to 2. What's the argument then that you can make about that thing and that thing? They're congruent. What property is that?
Symmetric.
Nope.
Transitive.
Transitive. Okay? So that's the transitive property, but when we click on this, click on the options, it doesn't give us that option, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's given. The last one says corresponding angles are congruent. Those aren't my option. Those aren't the ones I want to choose. But the middle one says if two angles are each congruent to a third angle, then they are congruent to each other, right?
Yep.
That is the verbalizing of what the transitive property actually says for angles. That make sense? Okay. So it's another way of saying, like, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. All right. Different way of formatting that phrase. So now we're going to look at and clean some stuff up here.
Can I go to the nurse?
Huh?
Can I go to the nurse?
No. You'll be okay. Just don't touch it. Okay. Here it says we're going to take this phrase that 10 and 12, or sorry, 10 and 2 are congruent, and that is going to be coupled with this phrase that 10 and 2 are corresponding. Okay, so they bring in a new piece of given information, but we get that from the picture. Are 10 and 2 corresponding in the picture? Yeah. Okay, but they're for different lines now, right? Okay, but 10 and 2 are corresponding from the picture, and they're congruent now. So if they're congruent, if these two angles 10 and 2 are congruent, what's that tell you about the lines that make them?
Parallel.
They're parallel. So X is parallel to M. And the reason then is because those are corresponding angles, right?
Yeah.
If corresponding angles are parallel, can corresponding angles be parallel?
Yeah.
Can
No.
corresponding angles be parallel? What types of things are parallel?
Lines.
Lines and planes. That's the only thing we talked about so far that are parallel. So that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. If corresponding angles are congruent, then the two lines cut by the transversal are parallel. That's what we're looking for, and that's our final answer. Okay, we're done. But what we have now done, go back to it, we have proven that if I have that picture, okay, and I start with A being parallel to B, along with that congruency of those two angles 10 and 4, I can make the link that X and M are also parallel. Okay? And that's just a flow chart. You kind of models this idea over here, and hopefully you can see then, maybe it'd be a little bit easier to see when I read this a second time what components were working together to create a new statement. We're going to do flow charts or flow proofs periodically throughout the year. So there will be things that we develop a pretty good understanding of. Let's see here. I think they're